Well, welcome back to this grand final between Grayhound and VERTEX to determine who is going to book their flights and tickets to the IEM Dallas event that'll be played later on this year. We move into map number 2, of course, on Ancient. This is the one that has been picked by Grayhound here, Pilski. But the caveat being, VERTEX chose to start on the T side for us.
They did, and I'm interested to see that approach. They had a very slow start on Nuke T side, so hoping they got all their ducks in a row. It's been a while between drinks for VERTEX to play an official here on Ancient. So we'll see how they go. Smoke over towards the A side of the map. In's playing up behind the Goblin box there. aliStair, a little bit of util to deal with, but this is all trying to pull the rotation. Smoke up towards top mid. In's picks Addict, and look at these T's storming all the way through Donut.
Yeah, we'll see what can have happen, though, over at this A site at the moment where the bomb is starting to go in towards aliStair. Good for one in the situation, though. Liazz as well. Things are coming up very nice for Grayhound in this pistol round, but Malta, if he has anything to say about it, he has to do it flawlessly for a 1 versus 5 pistol round. 56 point of HP. Inns is on 1 point for himself, but with 50 seconds to go, the bomb... He has to go into enemy territory to get it first. Nobody on Grayhound wants to just give him this opportunity. He's got the bomb. And he technically does only have a 1 versus 1 now that he has to fight against on Vexite if he continues to go in towards mid. But now it's just Liazz playing at the back of site. And it's going to be Liazz to win it.
Yeah, did get a duel with him, but hard to take a duel versus Liazz. I think statistically might be the best player right up there in Australia right now. I feel like in this iteration of Grayhound, he's just been excellent form. He's usually right up the top of the rating for these boys, playing roles where you wouldn't really expect him to have this level of fragging output. You know, it's not like he's put in these star player roles. A lot of the time he's playing these anchor positions and he's just fragging up the storm. Very safe, very reliable player. Reminds me of his time on Order where he's put in those anchor roles and he's hard carry. Oh boy. He's got a lot of these glocking boys trying to run at him. Vexite going to provide support, but gets caught by Addict running through the smoke there. Either way, which way though, these MP9s getting a lot of kills, working on you know, beefing up the economy of Grayhound a little.
Yeah, Vexite manages to find 2. In's good for 1. And meanwhile, Brace, whilst he does have this stolen MP9.
Oh. Almost finds Ins. That would have been, you know, another gun taken away from the CT side and plus 600 in the bank. aliStair gonna put that Addict. And this is looking funny for Grayhound. Make sure they don't lose any more guns. Easily cleaned up there. 4 alive for Grayhound, up 2-0. A clean pistol, a nice anti-eco. Look what VERTEX has fast on this first T-side gun round. They know that there was at least a couple of MP9s in play there for Grayhound, so those are the kind of things they got to keep an eye on. Is there going to be some kind of B ramp aggression, maybe some kind of quick play through cheat up to crunch lane?
I kind of want to see what mid control is going to look like for Grayhound come this map. I always feel like it kind of follows in with Mirage, where you either relinquish control completely or challenge for it, which is what they're trying to do right now, a 2 for 2, as Brace starts things off. aliStair cuts them down to size very rapidly, but Pilski, we're at a minute 30 on the clock still, and there could technically be a plans already.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what we saw from PC earlier against Rooster. He's just called the audible in the mid-round, taken space on A after seeing so many players in towards the middle. aliStair clears out Hazard. Nice pick from Addict over on Donut side, and he's going to set up this 2v2, just tucked up with PZ safely in towards Donut with an open plant here. Smoke and a kit available for Grayhound.
That's going to be the big thing for aliStair, isn't it? That smoke, get it early on. If you can use that HE grenade as ins, might be able to make things a little bit better with that MP9 downrange. Addict, though, with a HE of his own, and this time is certainly ticking away. They need to get on that bomb now. Ins to go for the challenge. It'll get a bink on towards PZ, but the Ninja in the smoke. Are they going to be able to deny aliStair? Oh, no, they cannot. They'll find the kill, but not before the defuse was there.
Still, it's not like VERTEX can't replace those guns. Grayhound getting that 3rd round on the board is excellent, but they still have no loss bonus built up, and that's going to take a lot of their cash to be able to reinvest here. In fact, aliStair buying an AWP means that Liazz has to go down to an MP9 here. Not going to drop over a rifle to old mate. Only a couple kits here for Grayhound. Both of these teams completely bankrupt. VERTEX with the maxed out loss bonus, that's the big difference here. They can recover from a round loss a little easier than Grayhound can. Underarm flash into the smoke. Gonna give Malta the man advantage here. Over towards VERTEX. Oh, straight through
Wow.
the wall. That's beautiful spam for PZ. And aliStair tried to aggress, trying to turn around this 3-on-5. He gets punished too.
Just individual duels being won by VERTEX at the moment in a string round where the economy would be broken for whichever team loses. This is pretty pivotal for VERTEX to get started. Get this round, get the next as well. You start to get towards the scoreline of Grayhound. So far, running in flawlessly, Pilski.
Wow.
Just down to Sicko. Can't get it done.
That was clean, as you like. A hard reset on Grayhound's money. $1,500, $1,400. Like, they are double eco. They've got a force by pistols here. And VERTEX, that could be a massive boon for them to be able to get into this game. They just need to chill the hell out now, make sure that they min-max this round, make sure they don't get caught off guard by pistol armors thrown out there by Grayhound. Because as long as they can get through this round cleanly, then they've got a pretty easy anti-eco into a buy where it's like M4s and light util. At that point, it should be 3-3. Potentially an easier round at 3-4. You can see the pathway back into this game for VERTEX. They just have to make sure they don't slip up along the way.
Yeah. See what damage these pistols and the Kevlar behind them can do if you can steal away a rifle. And I guess for VERTEX as well to not overheat nice and early. It's a very cheeky grenade though. Good read in from Hats, clearing corners, knowing that it is going to be this lesser equipped buy. You're going into the realm of, at best, an MP9. The pistols that are probably going to be the ideal weapon of choice though. So it's just making sure if you are VERTEX here to not give an opportunity to Grayhound to win.
It's a slow round. Smoke to top mid, flash into donut. VERTEX more so prodding mid than anything else, not really trying to control it. It's trying to see if they can deny the info to the CT side and catch anybody slipping. But VERTEX now starting to make their way through Cheetah and go for a bit of a B split.
Cheeky dink though, on one's brace, has it down low as well. This is where some damage can be delivered to the side of VERTEX. The Deagle of Sicko is going to bring in the first frag though for the Grayhound side of things. Meanwhile, with sub 30 seconds to go, bomb plants down. And you would probably expect VERTEX to close it, but still don't want to count out those pistols.
I mean, honestly, you're thinking about saving these for Grayhound because next round, you know, you're not going to have much more to work with. So pistol armor, you know, maybe you look for an exit, but for the most part, it's actually reasonably smart to hold on to these, try to do some more damage in the next round. You're going to be saving anyway. So smart stuff from Grayhound, understanding that the odds of forcing those duels of trying to complete a retake on this B side is unlikely. Playing the long game. But VERTEX, 4 alive. These are exactly the kind of moves that you need to see them making to make a game of this ancient.
Yeah.
Especially after, you know, Nuke was a real tight one. They really did fall at the last hurdle. Had a good second half for themselves, but couldn't quite put it together.
Yeah. I guess one of the things as well going for VERTEX in this being ancient is their tendencies are really not tested in a an official environment, right? Only in the scrims that they're able to get practice on because it's been so long that we've really been able to see it from them.
Yeah. Sure, these two teams probably prac each other a reasonable amount. Pretty limited in terms of what kind of prac that you can get in Australia. Although Grayhound, realistically, probably going further afield more often than not. Whereas VERTEX, their time abroad is a little bit more limited, which is exactly why you find them in something like the IEM Dallas closed qualifier grand final. They really want these international opportunities, and they well and truly understand that in order to take hold of them, you have to beat Grayhound. That's just the way things are.
And I guess these are the two teams that in relative history have had all of those spots overseas, right? So, regardless. Yeah, that's true. Rooster as well.
That's more of a recent development, though. Good juggling of the AKs. Malta making sure that the rifles are not on offer. Liazz on a bit of an off angle. Messy spray with the CZ doesn't get it done.
Bit of util and rotations. See what Ali can do with his Desert Eagle as he's going to be pushing himself into the corner. The spray from Malta. Make sure you don't touch those flames. Otherwise, you could get a little bit too hot for the situation. As the bomb plan starts to go down, it's Sicko and Vexite to see what they can do. It's a good flick out, actually, from PZ. A little bit unfortunate that he couldn't get the job done, but now they know exactly where Sicko is. And it should be falling in order at the moment for Vertex to be able to tie this series up.
Pretty clean. 3 up. Their money is absolutely excellent here at 3-3. And like I said, looking into round number 7, you've got M4A4 buy with light util for Grayhound. It's not going to be one of these rounds where they can like bombard mid with too much utility unless they want to go, you know, balls to the wall right off the bat and just burn all their utility trying to control middle, which could be the case. They got to be a little bit more choosy with where and when they invest their util, especially because, you know, if you're choosing to be an A4 player, which 3 of the Grayhound players are, you're going to forego a nade or 2 here and there. A little bit more expensive. Mid control in the favor of the CTs for now. Vexite being given a lot of responsibility, but over the top of the smoke, PZ drops him. Now you get this mid-round aggression straight down ramp, which has been heard by Hazard. So Malta well aware that this will be a push down lane. The rest of Vertex calling the audible, starting to make their way over towards the A side of the map, but the rotations are there for Grayhound.
Doesn't expect Hazard to be tucked in towards Cheetah. He doesn't, so things are looking very good for Vertex to be able to get the lead in this map here. Liazz, though, has to have his head readily available to turn around, and he does so in spades. 3 quick ones for him, but it is brought back into an advantage for Vertex. 1 versus 2, and Sicko's not here just yet.
It's doable for him. No kit, which is a side effect of the low buy that they had. It's a 50-50 inside the smoke, but a massive HP advantage for Sicko.
Yeah, and he's going to Pinocchio as well, which should give Hazard the opportunity to find the kill. If he's not looking, though, that would be the problem. And now for PZ, dancing around the donut, the shot, trying to bait it on out. There it is, the spray on in, but it doesn't matter. PZ finds him, and that is Vertex taking the lead.
Yeah, Sicko doing a good job baiting the shot. He's always had great movement and been able to kind of play around those all battles well. You can see another great example of it, but unfortunately, PC doesn't fall under the pressure. He's able to hold his nerve, line up that second shot. Now attack timeout for Vertex, and this is what I was talking about. Their runway in this T-side half is wide open at this point. They've done well to kind of turn things around since the start of this half. And now they win that gun round, you know, the low buy with just the rifles, limited util. They're able to deal with that, even though it comes down to a pretty tight situation. Mostly courtesy of Liazz playing the pivot angle from Donut. He's just rock solid at the moment, man. You cannot fault Liazz in this form.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we saw what he was able to do on Nuke, right? Yeah, 22 kills at the end of that one.
I feel like Inns, you know, you talk a lot about Inns and Vexite in Grayhound, but I feel like Liazz the last couple of months and in this iteration of Grayhound has just been quietly achieving good numbers.
Hang on a second. We've got Pistolas over at this B site, and there's 4 players here for Grayhound. A bit of damage, a monstrous amount of damage, actually. 4 versus 2. It's Brace and PZ to look for a bit of a recovery. And as Liazz has a HE grenade as well, it might not be needed if Vexite's hitting shots like this. This is clinical. PZ's going to reveal himself an AWP against the stolen AKs and the pistols. It is not the gun that you want to be going into this with unless you're given 3 1 versus 1s. It's how you lose situations like this, remember, Pilski. But with 30 HP, it's going to be pretty difficult for Mr. PZ to get this one done.
Yeah, Liazz going to put him down. AWP retrieved as well. Massive boon to the CT side economy right on the swing round. Like they had 3.4 loss bonus. They were just going for the half buy there. So they've had extra cash as it is. And they pick up a handful of rifles off the back of that. 2 AKs and an AWP. And that chips through a lot of the economy that Vertex built up. Like they were in an excellent position if they completed that anti-eco. But unfortunately, a lot of that's been shaved away, dropping around like that, and actually swung the economy quite heavily back in the favor of Grayhound. Keep an eye on this round here. Deep smoke into middle from the CTs. Multiple smokes invested by the T's. Top middle donut, as well as putting out that Molotov. You can see Malta trying to get space towards top middle, and Vexite is more than ready for that.
Race, though, able to take ins out of the cheetah, and there is only one member for Grayhound over toward the B side of the map at the moment, that being Sicko.
Yeah.
No util for himself either.
He's got his work cut out for him. Does seem like they want to kick off this B execute sooner rather than later, but Vexite's going to join him here, Dion.
See what Vexite can do as the flames start to fade. It's double grouping for VERTEX, but by util timing and a gorgeous spray from Vexite, this is again a 4 versus 2. Nearly brought into a 2 versus 3. And it is going to be done so indeed with Attic finding that one, but Vexite, he's found 4 hits on forward, and it's a tap to the face to PZ. That is perfect.
That's a 5k from Vexite in a round like that. He's absolutely everywhere. Oh, I was saying how good Liazz has been, but that is just raw firepower, explosive potential from Vexite, and we've seen it. You know, he's been touted as the young prodigy of the region for such a long time. Literally had Orgs pick him up before he's even eligible to play, just to have him sit on the bench. That's how much they believed in this guy's potential. So it's not really any surprise to see him land himself a spot on the top squad and go overseas, do damage, and then come back domestically and just continue putting in the hurt. I'm sure some of these guys are sick of playing this guy. An ace in a round like that. And in the previous, I think he got 3 with the Deagle, no?
Yeah.
So he went from going 2 and 5 or something like that to going 10 and 5. And those 2 rounds where he gets 3 with the Deagle and then aces with an AK that he picked up on that Deagle round breaks the money of VERTEX. They go from being in an excellent position, a dominant position in the half up 4 and 3 to being back in the bin.
Going to be reliant upon Hazard to do a bit of heavy lifting in this one, though, as he does have an AK of his own. Mid-control attempt for VERTEX. The flash, it doesn't even phase Liazz. 2 HP to spare, but it's a quick one up into this site. It's ins to shut it down. That gun retrievable for PZ, but at a 5 versus 3. It's going to be pretty hard to come by something here for VERTEX, though a drive-by from Malta's not bad.
Yeah, he's going to go retrieve that gun from Donut if he can get across. Does end up giving the pick over towards aliStair. Last 2 players working their way through Cheetah here. P250 handed to Brace. PC gets his mitts on the AK, but he's got no armor. So going to be a pretty rough prospect at this point.
Just everybody on Grayhound making sure they're covering bases around the map as well. Any points that VERTEX could get into a bomb site for.
PZ is cutting down the angles, taking his time, picking things correctly.
Now they spot him out.
That's cute. You know, nice attempt on the strafe across from Brace to pull the fire. Not really going to matter at the end of the day. 3 in a row for Grayhound. Is the reinvestment from VERTEX at 2.9 loss bonus. They get themselves an AWP together. Probably need a bomb plant to make sure that they can buy in the next round if they lose. On the other side of the spectrum, though, a couple of dominant rounds from Grayhound go from them being in a position where they're struggling to put buys together, constantly getting reset at the start of this half, to their money being absolutely rock solid.
Yeah. Starting it off, though, Liazz in mid, again, able to just pepper down PZ through the smoke, and they're going to send in Vexite as well. Vexite go kill, and he's going to do that. Bomb is out in the open. He's going to have to sacrifice a bit of util from VERTEX to get that one back. But there currently aren't any actual Grayhound members looking to contest over at mid. They've got the player advantage. They can simmer down for now.
Yeah, leaning quite heavily towards the B side of the map. 2-man set up in towards Cheetah. Liazz being given a lot of responsibility. He's going to smoke off A long. Starting to get more and more concerned about the wrap through top middle, the wrap through donut. These are things that Grayhound has to continue to consider, which is why you see the float across from Sicko in towards spawn side here.
They have a flash set up to be able to peek, or they're just going to rely on the back of that smoke. Sicko, that is very ambitious to be able to try and get through that one. You always got to understand why Liazz is by himself over at this A site, and that smoke buys a bit of time to disconnect Ins and aliStair from the situation.
You can see Hazard taking his time, aware that Liazz could have kind of crept in towards A long here. The longer that VERTEX take, though, the closer that these Grayhound players get on the retake.
Yeah, 20 seconds. They're clearing everything, and Liazz is going to spot that one up. They know that things are likely ending at this A site. The bomb plant starts to go down. A single flash. If you can take out aliStair, that'd be great for Addict. He's able to do so, and now it comes on to what information Hazza has already heard. They had the idea that Liazz was coming out from the temple, and as it starts to clear a bunch of these corners, it's on to Hazza, who wins that duel. A 1 versus 2. Inz's location now known. A flash and incendiary thrown on out. It's Hazza. The first point of contact potentially here, just tucking away at the default box. The swing, the pre-fire. I don't know if you didn't hear the stomping of Inz, but I don't think it really matters here, Pilski, because Addict is not buying into the tap, which means that Vertex are going to be winning this round and securing their 5th.
Yeah, well worked from Vertex. Good smoke towards the backside of Spawn. Addict's even going to retain an AWP for PZ. I think, you know, at the end of the day, that was a 4-on-3, I think, right?
Yep.
And then he had that deep smoke at Sicko. I think he thought he made it through the smoke on the timing, but he might have got caught on something. I'm not really sure. He was kind of gray screened there, but it looked like Vertex could see his body poking out of the smoke. So I think whatever happened there was probably the difference maker that round. Happens to the best of us. Again, Vertex looking to bust out of this smoke on bottom mid. Great trades. I think the difference maker really is just how deep Malta gets up close towards Donut. Makes Grayhound life a little bit more difficult, trying to stop them scaling up middle, and allows the easier trade there for Brace.
Yeah, now nobody home at the A side as well, so I think this is just going to shift the focus to Grayhound to hold this weaponry in the next round, right? Maybe not. They might give it a crack.
They might. I mean, yeah. It's a tough decision.
No kits, though.
Yeah, it does seem like they want to save. You're right.
Yeah.
Nice round for Vertex, though.
Hmm.
Just good spacing in middle. They go 1 for 2 and just creep out the A extremity. You know, it's a pretty simple round, but it's well executed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, you know, we saw this map yesterday for Grayhound. If we want to draw a narrative and comparison to that, where it was 8 rounds at the half that Grayhound managed to find on their T side, and then they technically closed it out as a 16-14 fashion on CT. So very close one against Encore.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see them pick Ancient against Vertex when they struggled against what I would consider to be a weaker team than Vertex.
Yeah, and Encore as well, I guess, knew in the fact that Savage is leading the team too. So it's his first real calling experience as well, and being able to put up 27 frags. It was actually a very impressive showing from Encore, even though they lost.
Yeah. Interesting to see how Encore, in a way, has kind of become Vertex's farm team. Just cycling through the Encore players, deciding which one works for them at the moment. At this point, it's Hazza. Never know, next week we might see APOC in Vertex. Even though he's not playing on that iteration. Grayhound kind of saving around the couple of weapons that they saved over in the previous. Not choosing to force this round. Good opening pick from aliStair, though, makes things a little bit more interesting. It's a pretty slow, tapered back approach from Vertex, taking their time, spreading the map, which opens up opportunities for an AWP.
Minute to go. aliStair is really the only one on Grayhound with the utility. I guess Vexite does have a flash, but aliStair, oh boy, that's the AWP down and all of that util.
You're going to see Vertex now pick up the pace. Flash into Donut. Liazz with nothing but a P250, and he's lost his head. Sicko trying to make something happen here from CT, but he's going to get pushed back, and Vertex going to set themselves up a post plant.
Yeah, this is the very large optimum chance for them to be taking the lead here. As long as they do not fall over and miss a couple of pivotal shots. PZ's not going to be doing that this time. Vexite and Sicko to see what they can do to get back in. There's no kit, remember, so time is always going to be a bit of an issue in this scenario. So are checking your corners as Brace dispatches of Sicko. It is going to send Vexite a packing.
Yeah, just going to hold on to the AWP. And with aliStair at 3.8, they can even consider maybe double AWPing at the end of the half here if they want to. Depends how they're interpreting how VERTEX is playing. I think that was a bit of a slower round, that one, but there's definitely been a mix of pace here for VERTEX so far this half. They're honestly playing a pretty good T side of Ancient. Like, I was wondering, especially with how slow of a start they had on Nuke T side, which I feel like was kind of the side effect of why that ended 16-14. Honestly, their CT side was pretty good. I think if they just squeezed out a tiny bit more out of that T side, they'd probably take Nuke in a few different realities. But in this case, their T side has been phenomenal, and their decision to start T side on their opponent's map pick has definitely been working. Grayhound now, like I said, they had the money for it, so in fact they will double AWP. Something you see not that often for a team that, you know, in theory should have a very strong double AWP.
Yeah, well, I guess you got to weigh up a lot of factors and what Sicko's able to do when he's more on that lurker anchor role too. But yeah, change up. We'll see how it's going to work. Sicko currently placed deeper on the B line where aliStair is looking through Donut, a potential challenge against PZ.
Oh,
wow.
The molly actually spreads so beautifully for PZ in the favor of him. Malta able to pick Vexite at top middle as well. This is going really well for VERTEX.
Yeah, do they expect Liazz though? Brace has an idea. He's cornering it out. It's just down to timing, and Liazz hits the scroll wheel. Meanwhile, actually, Inns finds Hazza, so we are back into 3 versus 3. Turning up the heat around the A site though, and a blinded Liazz manages to find Addict. This could look to tie things up for Grayhound. If Inns wins this duel, makes it a little bit easier on the 2 versus 2. Liazz gets a bit hungry on that one, but he's managing to chomp down PZ. Pilsky is just out of Malta. The bomb is in enemy territory.
Yeah, Sicko's made the rotation safely through middle, up through A long. Probably not something that Malta's going to be expecting, even if he knows where Liazz is. 24 seconds.
He's going to silently walk up. See what he can spot. Where is Liazz looking? It's not the right location. 17 HP, but Sicko on that AWP has got his boys back, which means we are going to be tied up going into the last round of this half.
Get a couple drops over. Someone's probably going to have to go without a proper weapon here. Maybe down to a FAMAS or an MP9 for Vexite, but double AWP more than makes up for that. It's a goodbye for VERTEX 2. They're going to use attack timeout here, interestingly enough. Try to secure this last round of the half, have a bit of a chat. And similar to what we're seeing, or what we saw against Rooster, it's you know, effort by committee here from VERTEX, all within 1 kill of each other. Very much trust in the system. No one hard carrying the boys.
Well, the timeout is gone. I'm looking towards just the weaponry at the moment to see what we've got to work with. Yeah, Vexite's got that MP9. I see a bit of a closer one for him. Again, Pilsky, this double AWP setup though for Greyhounds. Carrying that over.
See how VERTEX are going to navigate that. They did a pretty good job against the double AWP before. That's a big airstrike onto Hazza. He loses a lot of HP. Now an aggression through Donut. Molly to follow. Almost ends him. You're seeing the aggression into middle as well for Grayhound. Wrapping through Cheetah and Lane. And VERTEX want none of that. Malta's at top middle. That's the 2nd or 3rd time this half that Malta's been able to pick Vexite at top mid like that.
Yeah, he's only got an MP9, but it might be the beneficial weapon against Sicko if he loses this AWP shot, or if he misses it rather. They do say farewell to Liazz in this round, and Inns has to be able to find this one free of charge. He will. Meanwhile, Addict is starting to peek and clear angles over at A. The bomb goes to B, so I wonder if he's actually going to call the boys back, or if he's going to rotate over to them now that they see this incendiary.
He didn't commit there, interestingly enough. He chooses to tuck himself back in the corner. AWP on AWP action between Sicko and PZ here. Bit of a anticlimactic situation. Flash onto the line, sets up Inns to pick Hazza though, and that evens up the numbers.
3 on 3. Sicko on a line as well. See what he can do with the AWP. He's going to get smoked off. Times like this, I might want to see a cheeky little boost to come out from the lads of Grayhound, but there isn't any smoke to be able to play around that Vertex would be throwing. So it's going to be dry duels for the T's. Ins gets brace. There's a very, and I mean very late lurk from Addict here. So it's all on a PZ to try and win this duel, which he managed to do so. And now he is in a 1 versus 2, legs to 16. And it's becoming a little bit difficult. Everybody's got AWPs, and Sicko's just got to wallbang him, which means Vertex will not be winning out the half, unfortunately. But it is a close one in 8-7. Make sure you all stay tuned for when we come back from the break, because we'll see how Ancient is going to close. Welcome back, everyone. It is a close affair here on Ancient for our second map of this grand final between Grayhound and Vertex. An 8-7 one is seeing Grayhound just in the lead, but only ever so slightly, Pilski.
Yep. Really tight opening half. Does seem like Grayhound going to be putting a lot of pressure up Donut with the bomb, but they've left a couple of players over towards the B side of the map, so we might see them route back through Cheetah side.
Sicko. Oh, he's a little bit preemptive on that one. Potentially could have had a big opener.
Boots on the ground in the site. Trying to dislodge this two-man setup over towards Cheetah. They know that there was a player with dualies in this vicinity.
With another one, though. Helping on through. Only some damage on towards Liazz, but Ins has lost his life to Brace, which means things are pretty competitive in this pistol round. It's a nice flash to dislodge Brace, force him on back, and the Flames will do so even better. All right, to go down for the lads on Grayhound.
Gonna be fighting straight back into things. Flash up over the top. Malta is pretty far away though, trying to wrap up through middle.
Yeah, we'll see if he's going to be able to swing into action onto this cave player in Sicko, who's going to have to look after it. But aliStair pushing around the square. Malta now, the last soldier for the side of a VERTEX on this retake. A tap will end him to the face. And the bomb technically isn't planted for the members of Grayhound, but they don't know that Malta doesn't have a kit. He has to go for the hunt. He has to go for the fight. And on towards aliStair. He cannot win it.
It's going to be difficult for VERTEX to recover from dropping that pistol round. Going to slow down their ability to build up this CT side economy. I'm going to go for the second round force. So keep an eye on how much Grayhound kind of play around that, how many rifles they're going to invest in. Thought aliStair was just going to money man with the dualies for a second, which would be a choice in this current meta.
Yeah.
But no, he's going to be sensible. AK armor for the man. Only one NSMG over there on ins. Contact straight up B ramp here. Straight on into the site. This might catch PZ, but he's able to get away.
Oh, he's going to draw some buddies back, though. 4 members of VERTEX around this side. A deep flash as well will provide Vexite some goods. Liazz gets braced out, and things go from bad to worse again for VERTEX here to see what they can do with this force-up, mind you. They went in with these pistols, and so far the dice has not rolled in their favor.
No.
Azza and Malta. Yeah.
Ooh.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, I mean, trying to take away any exits he can. Oh, that's another nice shot.
Okay.
Good. Look, good crosshair placement. Takes a Mac 10 and a rifle away from Grayhound. That's better than nothing, quite honestly. Malta probably just going to save the util and the D-Llama here. I mean, Grayhound, just the contact up B ramp, not really having to deal with the pistols too much. Worked out quite nicely for him. Avoiding a lot of those tricky area of the maps where the Deagles and the close range pistols can have a bit more impact, like over towards cheater side and whatnot. It's going to be a full save here, though, for VERTEX. As Grayhound punching their way in towards double digits and getting one step closer to a spot over at Dallas. Of course, they are the team that we're expecting to be going through. But look, there is realities where VERTEX have stolen away international qualifier spots from Grayhound in the past.
Yeah.
Those kind of situations are few and far between, but they have happened.
Well, a bit of a fight in through mid. aliStair with 7 HP to spare. This is the default pistols for VERTEX. This is majority of USPs. You kind of hate to see them lose a round like this, but if you are a VERTEX fan, you would absolutely thrive in it.
Yeah. I mean, with the pistols, it's going to be hard for them to convert. They're stacked up over towards the A side of the map, trying to take a bit of a chance. But smoke to top middle. Grayhound applying pressure to the middle of the map, trying to push and pull rotations. See if they can isolate a player. They push PZ back from Donut over towards this A side of the map. And Sicko is more or less just kind of trying to money man here. While the rest of Grayhound see if someone pushes on the other side of the map. And once Sicko sees multiple players over there, I dare say that Grayhound are probably just going to call the audible and speed things up towards B.
Oh, well, PZ with this Mac 10, he could get some significant damage onto Liazz, but he's going to make the better advantage of it to just scurry away behind those flames. 3 versus 3. If aliStair gets taken out, that's where this round is actually costly.
Yeah. Liazz is going to cop a 1 deke from Malta. PZ getting his hands on an AK. These are the kind of impact rounds that Malta comes out with in these big games. Seen it time and time again. And he's going to put in a fair bit of the work there to be able to cause the upset on the pistol round. That's a massive economic swing for VERTEX. Things were starting to get a little worrisome for them. If Grayhound was going to be able to convert relatively cleanly there, that would have been a fair bit of pressure for VERTEX on the CT side. But that's a big boon to them. They're going to force Grayhound on the force buy here in round number 19 and with a chance to kind of hard reset them.
Absolutely. That is a round that VERTEX are probably laughing about that they've been able to find. I'm maybe a little bit surprised that we didn't get a timeout on the back of one like that, but Grayhound have not really needed to deploy them. It's more so VERTEX using absolutely everyone that they can in every series.
Just how it should be. They're a resource that is underutilized by many a team in this region.
Well, how's Liazz is spraying through the wall. See what Inns can do in any retaliation attempt.
Molotov deep into cheetah side. Pushing the CTs back. Smoke to donut, smoke to middle. Molotov in towards the cubby. Grayhound applying a lot of pressure to the middle of the map. Trying to limit the information. See if they have some kind of reaction out of VERTEX here. Keen to see what the mid to late round looks like. Looks like they're trying to set a player up with the lurk towards top middle. Then maybe start working towards the B side of the map. Leave aliStair up the top there to activate in the mid to late round.
Everybody's light on util.
Smoke deep into spawn. Maybe trying to pull a rotation off of this B site. Molotov going to keep the T's back for the time being.
Oh, it's a big one for Inns. Has it down. PZ, though, a trade. There's 15 seconds left, and Brace's position has gone unchecked. A 1-to-1 out. This is where things can get very troublesome. A wallbang attempt maybe from PZ, but it's not going to connect. There's no smokes for a retake. There is a kit, though, for Malta, so there is enough time for VERTEX to make sure they situate themselves quite nicely. The three of them to come in through the CT line of things. For Grayhound. The swing out from Sicko falls on deaf ears. A bit of damage for sure, but it's Liazz and Vexite in a little bit of a belated crossfire attempt. Malta, the first point, and the spray transfer rather for Liazz is great. The pre-kim before the flash. PC, he's not the one with the kit. It has to be the 10-second defuse, and Liazz, he's playing the timing nicely, and he doesn't even know it. There is the kill, but with no time on the clock, it means that Grayhound are going to secure the round.
PZ dies with the AWP as well. If he holds on to that AWP, that could have been a completely different buy. He's down on 2.4. Addict would have been the only player on like 2.6 to go to an MP9, and that would have been a much more substantial buy there for VERTEX, to be honest. Not sure that they can buy in this position here, though. Even though the money is super resettable for Grayhound, they are only going to half buy. Wouldn't have minded to see a timeout there. Have a chat about how they wanted to approach things. As it stands, though, it is just going to be the save from VERTEX. That's a nice flash. Almost sets up Brace to pick ins right off the bat.
We have seen what they've done with the USPs before, so a little bit of a backing up of the weaponry. Maybe they're able to steal another way around again. Malta has been taken down on the safe site. This is where Grayhound can look to establish a plant. Inns is relatively low, but if his teammates are getting the kills where necessary, it's all well and good.
Try to min-max, keeping the economy nice and strong here right at the end of the game. Can almost smell victory. Got that spot over in Dallas to look forward to. These are exactly the kind of opportunities that Grayhound has built to seize. Being the top dog in our domestic region. Been dominant for the longest time. Keeping things nice and sensible here. Brace going to pick up that Galil and even hold on to it. So VERTEX doing everything they can to try and min-max the economy.
This will be the 4th round now for Grayhound on this T side as well. So if that's anything to kind of compare against yesterday, where they were able to get the number of 8 from memory, because they were leading 8-7 at their T side, then, you know, they're halfway. Of course, getting that would also win the series.
100%. Is this buy from VERTEX, though? Not their last chance buy, but definitely getting there. Ray's going to hold on to this Galil. Attack timeout going to be used here from VERTEX. Their last one. So
yeah, that's a kind of early, actually, all things considered, right? 20 rounds of play, and they've got no more to rely upon, and Grayhound probably... You know, a team that doesn't really feel like they need to use one at the moment. Otherwise, they would have in those situations where they've been on these ecos. They've lost those eco rounds where VERTEX had no investment. So going by that, it probably is the last time for VERTEX to have this extended discussion.
Let's see what they've come up with. aliStair going to stay on the scout here.
VERTEX finally with the chance to get rolling a little bit more on this CT side. Already did barely lose nuke. So they have very little room to work with in this series. Going to be utility quite heavily towards middle here from VERTEX, layering in the Molotovs. Grayhound smoking off top, middle, and donut. Molly to Cubby. Trying to work up lane towards Cheetah, but there's a molly in the way and a smoke there for Inns, who almost catches Hazza spamming through the wood wall there. Nade goes a bit awry.
Yeah.
Molly's going to push Hazza back. So decent pressure around the map here for Grayhound. The utility that they invested in middle, they didn't actually step into middle and take control over there. Rather just kind of playing info denial. But look at PZ's angle on Donut. And look at this mid-round aggression down ramp.
Yeah, this could be pretty paramount to VERTEX starting a comeback in this one. It'll get all the information. Vexite is watching for it, though, and Inns is just behind him. A path of least resistance available for Grayhound if they went through to the A site and disregarded Donut silently. But with 50 seconds to go, it might very well end up at B.
Yeah, I'd say so. Brace has got a fair bit of utility that he's holding on to here. Gonna make Greyhound's life a little bit uncomfortable trying to come up B ramp late into the round here. Util being dumped it over on that A side of the map as well.
Good timing on the smoke from Brace. See how he repositions behind it. He does have Hazza here, but he needs to call for a little bit more cavalry because the execute from Grayhound is coming on in. Hazza and Brace getting a couple of crucial frags to mount out these defenses, and it might look a pretty strong 15 seconds left on the clock. As aliStair and Sicko without that bomb yet achievable. And I don't think it's going to be all things considered. Pilski Ali, he's gone ahead for the hills, got to run away.
Save onto the AK. Can probably drop one over the Vexite, even though he's got to go light util. Inns is going to have a tough time buying into this next round, though. So we'll see if Grayhound do actually opt to invest. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to save in a round like this, but they are going to buy up, despite the limited util here. You can see VERTEX very intentionally holding a lot of utility in towards the mid to late round. It wasn't just Brace on the B ramp there. It was also Malta over towards the A side of the map. Last 20-30 seconds, he was util dumping that A choke point as well. Again, early round here, same util invested by VERTEX, same util invested by Grayhound, except they even chuck a smoke to put out the Molotov's bottom middle. Quite heavily lurking middle here. aliStair looking for a duel up top mid, but Addict's going to put him down.
Yeah, it's something that Malta was able to achieve time and time again on the T side, finding that space in through mid. Fortunately, this time aliStair cannot, and as the flames do start to dissipate, the numbers start to dwindle on Grayhound's side. They do technically line up. It is a trade affair in the end. And VERTEX, as they do see Grayhound force into this one, it's gone pretty swimmingly for them, looking to find double digits, unless Inns with a deagle can turn things around.
Definitely could do some damage here. But all things considered, this is going quite swimmingly for VERTEX. Hazard's going to finish him off. 4 alive. And with that, the economy on Grayhound gets reset. Even if they, take this full save here, they're going to be on like 4.4, 4.5 next round. Going to be tough to put full util together unless they're going down to Galil. So it would be good to try and get a plant in this round. Not going to be the easiest of tasks, though. I think realistically, VERTEX are looking like they're putting themselves in a position they can even this game up with a strong economy to boot and potentially push us through to a third.
Yeah, a massive effort by committee as well, right? Everybody keeping pretty good control of their kills, except maybe now for Hazza and Braces. They do get a little bit more up there, Hazza specifically. And then an 18. At the end of the day, this was just the Glocks. PZ is going to get a piece of the action, and we bring it to within 1.
Here's the buy-in for Grayhound, though. Like I said, difficult to put together an AWP or a substantial amount of util unless you want to go down to Galil. So lacking a lot of mollies here on the Grayhound side. That's going to make it harder to work their way through Cheetah or maybe flush a player out of Donut.
Again, they're going to invest pretty early smokes in middle here. Try to bust straight out. Smoke towards bottom mid to put out the mollies. And a smoke to top mid and donut. Flashes layered over the top.
Oh, there's a bit of a cheeky one out from Hazza. Double dink on towards Liazz. So an opening kill yet again for Grayhound. And they're going to contest Addict once more. A little bit deeper. And he's able to get some significant damage out.
Yeah, brings Vexite low. Malta playing the off angle here in donut. VERTEX in this 4-on-4. Too much to hold, especially losing a pick in the middle of the map. Puts him in a bit of an awkward situation. Hell of a shot from Vexite to give the man advantage over to Grayhound. VERTEX staying active, trying to get a rotation over towards A, and they've got a pretty nice timing here.
Yeah, 3 players are going to be readily available. Maybe only 2 with Brace going a little bit later on, but it's an uncharacteristic miss from PZ, and it might be the upsetter of this round as Hazard's taking down to 15 HP. Brace loses his life. No damaging util. The difference incendiary or a HE grenade specifically could have actually made for Hazard if timed nicely, but it does mean with Plant, it's probably going to look to be the 13th for Grayhound. Money is built up though for VERTEX, so we will have another buy, a couple of rounds in succession.
Yeah, this is good enough though for Grayhound. Not only they're going to survive with 3 guns up, but they also find themselves an AWP, which is not something they would have been able to afford otherwise. I think VERTEX, like you said, plenty of cash though to keep contesting this half. It's pretty tight at the end of the game here. And Grayhound picking up this round, they're going to reduce their loss bonus. VERTEX keeps these rounds close. They can kind of grind this game down financially and maybe even try to reset the T's at a critical juncture in the next couple. Just need to stay in it.
Yeah, see what the buy is actually going to look like this time. Are we going to get any double AWP deployment on the CT side that we saw Grayhound look to achieve a little bit later on? You think about PZ's damage ability with that AWP, and you think about who would be bringing out the secondary one. Everybody favoring these A1Ss though, except for Malta with the A4. Got Hazard with that AK2. It is a very big time for VERTEX as well, right? If they're able to achieve this one. Near a reset on towards Grayhound. Damage early on with the HE grenade. And the pressure already in Cheetah.
Yeah, double nade onto Hazard's position. Counter util has been pretty good for VERTEX though. They got an initial nade chipped over on towards lane side. You had one thrown in through middle. So the T's took a lot more damage in that regard, but what a shot from aliStair to win the AWP duel onto PZ. There's still 3 CTs over here though. VERTEX have got an excellent read, but they just keep feeding kills to aliStair.
Yeah, the timing as well, right? We can see through the X-ray that the run boost was actually there to try and bait off a shot earlier on for PZ to line up one. But aliStair a little bit too quick and ready for that. 2 massive kills. You got a position in from Liazz as well. Doesn't hear any footsteps around the A site. If Grayhound do fall back from this situation, they would have a free A site. But this is where the rotations for VERTEX start to be questioned.
Just util pressure from Grayhound. They have no interest in going towards this B site. They're letting Liazz explore the other side of the map, and he's calling the audible that there's not a single CT over here, but might be a bit of a false sense of security. It feels like VERTEX are saving or accidentally rotating to the right side of the map in this case, and Addict absolutely decks Liazz there.
Oh, wow. They're all here, Pilski. The bomb is nowhere to be seen. This round has turned upside down. You think about VERTEX if they were going for a save, well, now they've actually seen themselves in a winnable situation from a 5 versus 3. And aliStair has to be the one to try and clutch it up. He was there for the opener. And I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Wow, that is Lady Luck blessing VERTEX.
I don't know if they were reading the rotation or saving. I really love to know that.
If they were saving, then that's funny. If they were reading the rotation, then that is extremely smart.
Yeah. That's put Greyhound's economy in a really weird position. It's like I was saying, they just needed to, hang in there. Keep things hanging in the balance. Grayhound going to take a single save and invest in a hero AK. Sicko going to try to make a play out middle. Loses his life straight away. At least Vexite is able to try and recycle that AK. And by recycle, after taking that nade to the face, he might try and hand it off to somebody else at this point.
Ins on the pixel line again. Another warbang for Hazza.
Very nicely done. Just trying to keep these anti-ecos relatively clean, especially at the tail end of this game. Make sure that you don't put yourself in a position where you can get reset right on that point.
Good for... To say it's good for VERTEX to hold on to all the weapons here as well, to make sure that if they do drop around that they have a pretty strong buy and a couple of consecutive buys as well. You know, you don't want to be seeing yourself in a situation where it's map point, series point, and you've got nothing to play with. If it goes that way. Because we should be tied up on the back of this round.
4 alive. Clean as you like. And heading into round 27 now, VERTEX have got, I would say, at least one buy in the back pocket. So they've got a pretty strong position to be closing out this game and pushing us through to Mirage as our decider. Can't count out Grayhound though. They have been the clutch team that comes through time and time again and wins these international qualifiers out of Oceania. Had some decent form in Pro League recently, so you know that they're more than good enough to be picking this series up. Have a pretty slow start to this round. No quick smokes to donut or top mid like we've seen in previous rounds, and no smoke onto the mollies invested over towards bottom and mid. They're instead looking to work up lane into cheetah. Quite a passive approach, maybe anticipating some CT aggression.
Yeah, aliStair needs to be real careful here, though. Expecting the flash. Has got a swing on the back of this one. Although he's actually gone in dry. That's going to be the one-to-one trade. Molly in the cave to keep any proceedings from Grayhound up. But Addict... it's a little bit rough for him to lose that fight. It's a player advantage now for Grayhound and a very split defense for VERTEX.
Yeah, they've got too much ground to cover. They need to cut their losses and kind of decide what they want to be leaning towards. And in this case, it's Malta to go and try to back up PZ. Breaks with the whole belter utility, trying to play the A site all on his lonesome. Smoke thrown over towards the A side of the map and a molly into Donut. Grayhound with 30 seconds on the clock, taking their time.
Yeah. There's a molly thrown into the cave as well to keep Ins from getting any more ground over a B to cut off the head of PZ potentially. So we'll see what Brace is going to be able to deliver here when they go for the plant. They're not looking after him. He could just tuck in, but no, the timing is a little bit there for him. Malta, he's got a one-on-one against Sitko, and he wins it. That is the round. That is VERTEX taking the lead once again.
No time for Ins to get into position there. It's Grayhound not giving themselves enough rope, and VERTEX basically hanging them with it. Able to play these positions where they can play for time. And make the lives of Grayhound running the clock down very difficult.
Yeah.
Ins holding on to that AK. Puts them in a weird economic position where they don't know if they want to force or not. They're going to buy up a little bit around just a singular AK. Give themselves an outside shot at winning a round like this, but it's looking like VERTEX to push us through to 3 at this point.
PZ on the AWP line. Doesn't miss that one. Only a real small amount of damage from Ins, and that AK is down on the floor. Not retrievable at the moment as Brace tries to keep him from it. Cheeky double HE grenade stack. aliStair and Vexite feeling the brutality of that one. And now for Hazza, he's been sensational with finding these wall bangs. It's going to be a bit of damage this time around.
Yeah. I think if VERTEX is going to potentially feed them a kill here or there, Vexite, probably a good pair of hands to be putting an AK into in a round like this. And after nothing's really offered up to them over on the B side of the map or over towards Cheetah, they're going to see if they can try to make something happen on Donut or up towards top mid. Liazz strafing out to create space for Vexite to trade, but it's an easy double for Malta.
This is shaping up to be round number 15 for VERTEX. And there it is. Map point for them to try to send us into Mirage.
2 gun rounds in a row. Definitely doable for Grayhound to push us into OT here. But VERTEX have looked much more solid on CT side, just in general. Honestly, probably could have taken out Nuke if they had just had a little bit better of a run on T. Had a better T side on Ancient for sure, but their CT has been great as well.
Mm.
And Grayhound suffering from some of the same issues as we saw on Nuke. Running down the clock has really been biting them. No presence towards middle this time. Really does seem like they want to be contesting Cheetah quite heavily and maybe kicking off a B split here.
Well, they are baiting out a bit of this CT utility. No one really budging too hard from their forces either to back things up over at B. It is some early cave control for Vexite.
It's going to be the exec on in here. Hazard trying to push forward in front of the smoke deal.
Oh, he might be able to cut him off as well because he's not blinded, but Vexite is one better in this scenario. Sicko on towards Brace, and it's a 5 versus 3. We've seen it lost by Grayhound in a situation like this. Addict will be finding Vexite, and with the rotations coming on over, that's where you might get a little bit sweaty if you are Grayhound. You cannot make a mistake here. You want to get the bomb plant down. Smokes have faded. No longer available for VERTEX either, and Liazz stuck at the pillar of Addict. Wants to find him. Sicko is close as well, but who is going to be the one to move first? It's going to be Sicko. The shoulder has been seen. Immediate reactions from Addict. Knows where Inz is now. Saw him at the cave. He's just going to buy some time for Malta to come as well. They've got the kit. They start to clear the corners. They start to get deeper on in. They know where all 3 members are, but they can't quite get it done. It's again another map finding the full 30.
More than enough cash in the bank, though, for the reinvestment here for VERTEX. They can even double AWP if they want to. But going to stick to the 4 rifle. It's been finding them a reasonable amount of success here. Good round for Grayhound, just keeping things simple. Not overcomplicating things and trying to work mid too much. But instead, working that cheetah control and using it to kick off a B split. Now going back to making it look like they're working that mid control, smoking top mid, smoking donut, throwing some flashes over middle, but the majority of these Grayhound players are working this B side of the map.
Hazard shooting towards mid this time as well. Pumping some early util. Provide a bit of a safe play for him.
Just be careful not to get caught here. I'll put a lot of pressure on PZ on his lonesome on the site. And Grayhound gonna do basically what worked for them before, just on a later timing in the round after throwing mid smokes.
No massive adjustments from VERTEX yet again when they see a bit of this util starting to come through, and they have lost the cave control.
Yeah, again, same B side execute. This time Hazard's kind of out on an island without too much support, and he just gets isolated and picked. Addict still doing a good job picking players through the smoke, but Vexite is not going to respect him at all.
Nah, PZ, 22 points of HP for the AWPer as well. This is where VERTEX needs to bring out everything. Get a sensational retake to send us into the next map, but the smoke fades, and PZ, he catches a whiff of 2. Knows the Sicko's in the cave as well. The swing is out. The shots are there. 3 on 3. Malta's got a full kit of util, mind you. Deployed well, could be very, very large and in charge here, but it's Sicko and Ali now all on to Malta, which means with the continuous frags of Greyhounds that we get a little bit of spicy overtime.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. 12.5k overtime. Cute little middle ground. You know, I have my gripes with both 16k and 10k overtime, so I'm quite happy.
Yeah, I'm happy with this as well. Yeah.
Just going to go straight into it. No rest for the players. No time to recollect themselves. Just more gun rounds of CS here. Grayhound doing a good job working this cheetah side of the map to be able to kick off that B side execute. So Hazard being able to find that pick might actually nullify the effectiveness of a round like that again this round.
Oh, Inz has snuck past the smoke. I wonder when he's going to look to activate Hazard. Seemingly has an idea he's going to spot the body and win that one. So 2 big frags for himself. 25 kills on the board. Meanwhile, Sicko, he is pushing up through mid here, Pilski. And Malta has the line. Oh, he spotted him pass.
Yeah, and you already seen the adjustment there for PC. He's just posted on that deep spawn line. So they've got him kind of soft locked into middle. Getting the rotation back across. Grayhound feeling like if they can get out on this A site, that can help Sicko activate because they don't know that the CTs are aware he's stuck into this position. I mean, a round like this could still work, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Not an undoable 3-on-5.
You got Addicts playing at the Temple, though, and then you've got Malta at Donut. Bit of utility. You know that there's some members here. You have to cut some corners if you are Grayhound. You remember you have to get a plant in this situation as well. Afford yourself a bit of extra leeway. They smoke off and isolate one angle. They lose Sicko, though, and things go from a maybe winnable scenario to a very, very difficult one now. 10 seconds, it'll be a 1-on-5 when the plant starts to go down. And it's a very risky one, in fact, because there's been no corners that have been cleared.
5 alive. Excellent couple of kills from Hazard there. Grayhound have just found success time and time again over towards Cheetah and Lane. Be able to kick off that B side execute. That's what kind of pushed them into overtime. So the fact that he's able to find those spam kills, fight picks before, you know, that big snowball that Grayhound's building up over towards Cheetah side and into that B side execute can build up. Slows that down, chips down the numbers of players that they have to deal with. Again, it's mid smokes out of Grayhound, not putting out the bottom mid Molotov. aliStair to be the one to take the duel towards Cheetah, but you just can't beat Hazard at the moment.
He's on absolute tear, isn't he? Certainly leading by a good example. With all of these kills, rather. Push up through the guts. See what Addict is going to be able to do if Grayhound look to get any further here. As you've got Vexite and Liazz who are split across the map as well.
2-man set up in towards middle. Grayhound going to call the audible, call Vexite back across to the A side of the map, similar to what they were trying to achieve from a man disadvantage in the previous round, but VERTEX staying active even with the man advantage, pushing all the way down B ramp, getting full information.
Yeah. It's going to be hard for Grayhound here. They've lost all control of the B side of the map. So it's pretty tellable on what they are trying to do here. Util starts to come on out. Hazard starts off yet again on the Sicko. Inz is there for a trade, but it's only Liazz to see what he can do. Now it's actually just a Vexite and it's nothing. A pretty good amount of tappings from Addict.
Clean.
So, yeah, 17 for VERTEX now. One more on this CT side half before the switch up.
Yeah, Grayhound need to find something else that's going to work for them. Had a good little run at rounds, don't get me wrong, but especially towards the end of that last half, but that feels like something that VERTEX and Hazard in particular have kind of cottoned onto. So they're going to have to try something else here. Again, mid smoke towards top mid. No donut smoke this time. Instead, it's going to be a smoke on towards Cheetah side with a progression molly out of Vexite, and the rest of Grayhound going to quite heavily creep out this A extremity on the timing.
Yeah, it has been the weaker site from VERTEX as well. If they do smoke off the line that Addict is holding, they only have the force of Malta to contend with. Otherwise, it's going to shift into a pretty big post plant where you've got a lot of utility for VERTEX. You'll have a stampede of rotations at the B side as well that Vexite might be able to potentially catch off if he goes late. So we'll see what they can do here.
Yeah, unless they're on an AWP line like this, not something that you potentially be expecting. You got the Krieg of Liazz posted on the other angle as well. So this A site retake going to be quite trepidatious for the CTs to approach. Smoke to donut, create a little bit more space so they can try and get themselves in a post plant here.
Good util and good positioning from aliStair, as you mentioned. Not going to be expecting him in a situation like this. And it is a player advantage for Grayhound. It's PZ missing a big old shot, but the challenge is here, and the trades are certainly flowing. PZ on a ripper at the moment, looking for another, but Inz completely cleans his clock, and it is Grayhound getting the last round of that one, which means, Pilsy, there's a chance for both these teams to win in this OT.
Yeah, Grayhound swapping back over to the CT side. It's been a little while. See how VERTEX go on their T side. They had a good run of things. quite honestly. Decent T side for themselves. They're going to be able to get that AWP out. They contest this mid smoke. Early layers of flashes on in. Vexite's got himself in a deep position inside of the smoke, and you can tell Vertex are concerned about it. They're able to clean him up.
Yeah.
They've lost Malta 1 for 1 though.
Yeah, and Brace is stuck. Has us on 4 HP, so this utility is certainly doing a good lick of damage out from the Grayhound side.
This round's a mess.
Brace down.
Bomb's been left behind by Vertex. This is a glaring issue at this stage. They've got a site control, but they can't do anything with it.
Yeah, well, they're going to give Hazard the bomb eventually. But trying to hold down the fort with, you know, no util now, it's going to be hard.
CSGO going to pick Addict there on the A-cross. PZ getting himself a real deep position in CT spawn.
50 seconds. Need some individual heroics from PZ here. And how do you look to navigate this as well? Hazard within an inch of his life. You almost just need to try and hold a line and hope that they either swing you to make it easier for yourselves on the post, or they don't peek you whatsoever. And then you go godlike when it is in this post plant. So we'll see what's going to actually be achievable for Vertex. PZ does spot out Sicko. Renegotiates the line, misses the shot against Inns, and I mentioned that Hazard was on 4 points of HP. Inns makes quick work of that one, so we will be tied up here.
Double ult picked up by Grayhound. So that's going to change things up a little bit. Something that Vertex may have to consider, or they're going to be dropping picks as they move through the map. All purchased up once again from Vertex, not going for that 5 rifle approach. Does kind of pigeonhole them into somewhat of a slower strat. Not like they can't still throw execs, but again, it's going to be mid control here. Smoke to top mid donut. They are not going to put out the mollies layered into middle by Grayhound, and this progression smoke in towards Cubby's side is definitely going to give Vertex cause for concern after what happened last round. Great nade onto Hazard. Pressure being applied by Inns, who's going to invest a smoke over on Cheetah's side.
Saw this boost utilized yesterday. Of course, it was on top of a smoke as well. It was well executed. Get a nice opener, but for here, Grayhound not playing in the back of the house. Mid to be smoked off, though. Nice slow proceedings. We don't see anybody in Cheetah here, Pilski, for Grayhound, like we did see Hazard get a phenomenal amount of frags and control for Vertex.
Yeah, I mean, the issue really is that this is quite a slow round. A fair bit of util being invested in the early to mid round to take map control, and they're going against a double AWP setup, so they're starting to run out of util. They're going to run into one of these AWP blinds against aliStair or Sicko. That could be an issue, but they're doing a great job of isolating aliStair right now. It's in between a rock and a hard place in Donut. Aggression from Inns on Cheetah side finds fruit, though.
Yeah, and that is growing up right now for the side of Grayhound. A 4 versus 1 after a good collection of frags from the CTs. And now Pilski, what can Brace do? 20 seconds. A single player at the B side in Vexite.
I don't know. Vexite usually pretty good in these kind of situations. Able to pick him on the cross. And that is Dallas point up for Grayhound.
Yep.
Look, Vertex, the way the first half went, I thought they were going to roll over and die in this series, but it has been anything but. They put up a big fight to try and take this international qualifier spot. Nuke went all 30. Here we are in overtime, but still, you know, no matter how much Vertex try to struggle, it's looking like Grayhound might be on for another international qualifier here if they can pick this round up.
Will it be clean, though, or will it be a good old challenge from the side of Vertex? They're going to start off quite nicely by finding the opening kill, at least.
Yeah, Vexite again trying to misc it in towards middle. Use that progression smoke there to contest the mid default from Vertex, and this time it doesn't work out for him. It's 5-on-4 Vertex. Going to slow things down, leave Malta behind in middle and try to group up towards B ramp, where it looks like Sicko and Inns are thinking about aggressing at some point.
Hmm. Bit of a creep up and a crawl for the Vertex lads. Straight into Sicko on the AWP. You've got Ins there as well. This is flowing nicely. A minute on the clock, though, to still get a bit of a recovery for Vertex, but it's going to be even more difficult losing Malta. Ins taken out. If Hazard can double down, it would be a bit of a mischievous play from him. Liazz, though, is going to deny that, and it's all on PZ to try and hold down the fort for Vertex. A 1 versus 3 with an AWP in hand. It's his best weapon. It's a beautiful flick onto Sicko. It would have been amazing onto PZ, but it can't get done. We've got GGs around everybody in the server, in the Twitch chat, because you know what it is. It's 1917, and it's Grayhound Gaming going to Dallas.
And you can't be too surprised about that. You know, we all love the Vertex Cinderella story, and they're looking good with the pickup of Hazard. Definitely pushing Grayhound at least 30 rounds in both maps today.